Welcome back to Grammar Fundamentals for the SAT. This is Chapter 11, Lesson 82. We've spent the unit adding commas. Now we learn where a comma does not belong. Today, misused commas. The most common comma mistake is the comma splice. A comma all by itself cannot join two complete sentences. The curtain rose, comma, the show began. That's wrong, because each half could stand on its own. You fix it one of two ways. Add a coordinating conjunction after the comma. The curtain rose and the show began. Or swap the comma for a semicolon. The curtain rose, semicolon, the show began. Comma plus conjunction or a semicolon, never a comma alone. Here's a trap that looks just like a compound sentence, but isn't. When a conjunction joins only a compound predicate, that's two verbs sharing one subject, you do not put a comma before it. She never turns anyone away, but welcomes every patient. There's only one subject, she, doing two things, turning and welcoming, so drop the comma. She never turns anyone away, but welcomes every patient. The test is simple. If the words after the conjunction have no subject of their own, no comma. Two more places a comma must never go. First, never put a comma between a subject and its verb. Every sport you like, comma, is one I don't play. Wrong. The subject, sport, reaches straight to its verb, is, so no comma. Every sport you like is one I don't play. Second, never put a comma between a verb and the words that complete it. The recipe contains, comma, beans and peppers. Wrong. Contains needs its objects right away. A comma there just trips the reader. Keep subject, verb, and object together. So before you let a comma stand, run three quick checks. 1. Is it joining two full sentences? Then it needs a conjunction with it, or use a semicolon. 2. Is it sitting before just two verbs with one subject? Then take it out. 3. Is it splitting a subject from its verb, or a verb from its object? Then take it out. A comma marks a real pause for the reader, not just any gap between words. When in doubt, leave it out. Let's practice. For each sentence, decide whether it's correct as written or whether it contains a misused comma. Pause and try each one before I answer. My favorite courses include, comma, geology, algebra, and art. That first comma sits right between the verb include and its objects, which is not allowed. So the answer is, comma, misused. We don't watch television news, but read the newspapers. But joins a compound predicate here. Watch and read sharing one subject, so it correctly takes no comma. So the answer is correct. I hope the Andrewses can come, comma, I've invited the whole family. Those are two complete sentences joined by a comma alone, a comma splice. So the answer is, comma, misused. 3 more. Watch for splices, for compound predicates, and for commas wedged between a subject and its verb. Pause and try each. The art you call avant-garde, comma, is art I call silly. That comma splits the subject, art, from its verb, is. So the answer is, comma, misused. The king assembled his dukes, barons, and earls in a parliament. Those commas simply separate items in a series, which is exactly right. So the answer is correct. The audience cheered the recipient, comma, and called for a speech. And joins a compound predicate, cheered and called with one subject. So no comma belongs before it. So the answer is, comma, misused. Let's wrap up. A comma alone can never join two complete sentences. That's a splice. So add a conjunction or use a semicolon. Don't put a comma before a conjunction that joins only a compound predicate, two verbs with one subject. And never wedge a comma between a subject and its verb, or between a verb and its object. When in doubt, leave it out. Great work! In Lesson 83, we'll put every comma rule together in a full review.